Let's try another one. So this question reads, which content about self-care should the nurse include in the teaching plan of a client who has genital herpes? Select all that apply. Encourage annual physical and pap smear. Take antiviral medication as prescribed. Use condoms to avoid transmission to others. Warm sitz baths may relieve itching. Use nystatin suppositories to control itching. And douche with a weak vinegar solutions to decrease itching. So we're being asked what we want to include in this teaching plan. And it's telling us that we have a client who's got genital herpes. We're giving them some self-care instructions. So we think about outcomes, right? We know genital herpes, that's a viral infection. It's an STI, so we know it can be transmitted via sex. We know that there's no cure for it. We can take things to help suppress the symptoms, minimize the symptoms, right? So we can do type of management like that and some home care measures to feel comfortable in the case that there's an outbreak. So we look at our answer options. A reads, encourage annual physical and pap smear. And using our opposites trick, if we are not picking this, so we're saying no to this, what you're saying is you're going to tell them don't have annual physicals and pap smears. And that's not true. We do want them to have annual physicals and pap smears. B says take antiviral medication as prescribed. So again, opposites trick says if we don't pick it, we're saying that we're going to tell the patient do not take your antivirals as it's been prescribed to you. And that's not true. So we do want to choose this. We should take all of our meds as it's prescribed to us, right? And we know that antiviral medications can help with this patient's symptoms. C says use condoms to avoid transmission to others. By not picking it, what are you saying? Don't use condoms to avoid transmission. And that's just not true. We do want to use condoms. Now, something really important here. This question didn't provide us any data that the client is having an outbreak. It simply says they have genital herpes, which we know, since it's not curable, if you've been diagnosed with it, you'll always have it. So in the case that you do have genital herpes, you definitely want to protect yourself during sex. If you're having an outbreak, an active outbreak, that's when we would advise the client no sex at all. D says warm sitz baths may relieve itching. So I'm going to put you on to a word here, may. And I like this word because unlike words like always, must, never, those type of words don't give you any wiggle room. And very rarely is something always, must, never, right? So may does give you wiggle room because what does may mean? It means you may or you may not. So all at the same time, the word may means yes and no. So that's a great word to have in a scenario like this because either way you flip the word may, it's right both ways. So warm sitz baths may relieve itching. It may not relieve itching as well. Both ways are correct, so we're going to choose that. E says use nystatin suppositories to control itching. Well, what's nystatin? Nystatin is an antifungal medication. But what type of infection is genital herpes? This is viral. Would we give our patient an antifungal for a viral infection? Nah. E can't be right. And F says douche with weak vinegar solution to decrease itching. So we're telling our patient to douche. The opposite would say do not douche with weak vinegar. And the opposite is true. We don't want them to douche with weak vinegar or anything for that matter. So the correct answers here are A, B, C, and D.